Welcome to GL Advisor's presentation prepared for law students and recent graduates. This presentation will explain how legislation and new government programs have improved the economics of your law degree. GL Advisor is a unique service designed to help law students and recent graduates manage their student debt burden and other financial matters. The goal of this presentation is to share information that will assist you in making more educated and informed decisions about your student debt. Before we get into the core of the presentation, let's take a look at the recent rise in law school debt. As you can see, debt levels have risen dramatically over the last 7 years, with most recent levels reaching $109,000. Unfortunately, the cost of higher education continues to significantly outpace the cost of other goods and services. We must also review salary information to understand the impact of these debt levels. This graph shows the distribution of salaries for law school graduates. As you can see, unlike the salary distribution for other professional graduates, the distribution for law graduates is very bimodal. So while the mean is reported as $85,000, only 2% of the class of 2009 received this figure, with most falling into one of the two modes. Now let's take a look at the distribution of full-time salaries for attorneys. This data is based on a survey conducted by the National Association of Law Placement and includes a sample set of 22,000 respondents, ranging from young attorneys to those with decades of experience. This survey was conducted in 2006, prior to the recent economic downturn. However, as you can see, the bimodal distribution continues to exist. This data is critical because, as you will see, it has considerable implications on determining the optimal repayment strategies. In order to demonstrate the necessity to align your repayment strategy with your career, we will use 3 distinct career path categories. The large firm category might include jobs in corporate law, small firms, solo practices, and certain in-house counsel positions, and finally, the third category for those who work in the nonprofit sector or public interest law. You will see that the student loan repayment strategies vary greatly depending on these 3 career paths. If we now look at representative salaries for each career path, we can see they vary considerably and align with the distribution shown earlier in the presentation. However, the student debt levels do not vary. We do not see any material difference in student loan borrowing when compared with salaries. This is the primary challenge many law graduates face, but as we'll see, it's also the reason new federal programs have such a significant impact and will help improve their financial situation. Fortunately, the government has created programs to help alleviate student debt burden. The first program is called Income-Based Repayment, or IBR, which limits borrowers' monthly loan payment to 15% of their discretionary income, and for up to 3 years after repayment begins, the government pays the interest on subsidized loans not covered by the reduced monthly payments. Additionally, after 25 years of qualifying payments, any outstanding balance is forgiven. In 2014, program enhancements will go into effect for new borrowers, which will limit monthly payments to 10% of discretionary income and forgive outstanding loan balances at the end of 20 years. The second program, Public Service Loan Forgiveness, forgives all outstanding debt after making 10 years of qualifying payments while working at a public service entity, such as a federal, state, or nonprofit organization. Now we'll look at the features of income-based repayment, which again sets your payment at no more than 15% of your discretionary income. For this example, we'll assume the graduate has $120,000 of federal student loan debt and enters the private sector making $65,000. If the borrower uses an extended 25-year repayment term, the monthly payment is $874. Now if we look at an approach in which the borrower enters IBR in year 1, it results in a much lower payment schedule, only reaching a monthly payment of $574 by year 12 and $860 by year 25. So as you can see, there is a dramatic reduction in monthly payment obligations due to income-based repayment, and this can be helpful in managing your liquidity. Another benefit of the program is that during the first 3 years, the government will pay the interest on subsidized loans that is not covered by the reduced payment. In this scenario, the government will pay almost $3,500 over the first 3 years. Now let's review the loan forgiveness aspects of IBR. Continuing with the same scenario we just reviewed, this borrower enters the small firm career track with a starting salary of $65,000. At the end of the 25-year term, the borrower still has a significant outstanding loan balance. So, if there were no loan forgiveness program in place, she would be required to continue to make payments until the debt is paid off, which in this case would take more than 16 years. However, with loan forgiveness, she no longer needs to make payments after year 25, and all remaining debt is forgiven at that point. In this scenario, $158,850 is forgiven. Even though the attorney's salary grew from $65,000 to $132,000, she still had a remaining balance to be forgiven after 25 years. An interesting point is that even though the initial debt was $120,000, the amount forgiven was $158,850 due to accrued interest. In this scenario, the IBR payment did not exceed the monthly interest accrual until year 19. To better understand the financial benefit of this program, you can compare the total debt payments under an extended repayment plan and under IBR. And as you can see, debt payments are reduced by more than 32% under IBR, from $262,214 to $177,741. For those who enter the nonprofit career track, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program functions similarly, but under this program, debt is forgiven after only 10 years and is not taxable. In this example, the borrower has $120,000 in debt and a starting salary of $45,000. As you can see, there's a considerable difference in the payment burden as payments only reach $222 under IBR compared to $1,400 under a standard 10-year repayment plan. After 10 years of working in the public sector and making qualifying payments, $181,626 is forgiven. But more importantly, the total payment burden is reduced by 87%. The total payments are now $21,619 versus $169,782 under a standard 10-year plan. Additionally, this savings number could be considered conservative, as most borrowers would not be able to afford a $1,400 monthly payment on this income. We estimate that 80% of new law graduates will benefit from the available federal loan repayment programs. The remaining 20% will predominantly fall into what we've categorized as the large firm career path and will still need to take a proactive approach to lower the cost of their debt. This slide compares two different strategies for repaying $90,000 in student loan debt: a typical repayment plan and a targeted repayment plan. In both cases, the borrowers use IBR for the first 2 years to help them manage their liquidity, but because they will not be eligible for forgiveness, they accelerate their monthly payments to $836 a month. The first borrower takes a common approach, and his monthly payments are allocated to both his Stafford and Grad Plus. The other borrower uses a targeted approach, and while she makes the same monthly payment, no payments are allocated to the lower rate debt until the higher rate debt is paid off. In this example, the targeted approach saves the borrower almost $8,000 in interest costs. This approach can be implemented using overpayments as well, and while it seems very logical, data shows that this approach is rarely practiced with student loan debt. As you can see, the programs and strategies we have reviewed in this presentation will have a tremendous impact on the financial health of the law school graduates that utilize them. The appropriate action plans and considerations will vary based on your current status and career path. As you can see, there are activities for those who still have at least a year of school left and for those who are graduating this year. The primary driver will be positioning your loans to take advantage of one of the 3 repayment strategies. And the appropriate strategy will be dictated by several factors, including your career path and earnings. Properly managing student loan debt has become more critical to new graduates because of higher debt levels and a tougher economy. It is important to understand your options, develop strategies, and reassess those strategies on an annual basis to lower the cost of your overall debt and accelerate the growth of your financial net worth. This concludes GL Advisor's presentation for law students and recent graduates. Visit our website to receive a free personalized assessment that outlines your specific loan history and highlights your savings opportunities resulting from appropriate government programs as well as a tailored action plan based on your profile. Thank you for viewing this presentation, and please contact us with any questions.